Hello, guys. We have a very powerful, very intense, very structured moon coming up in Scorpio. It is full. It is a part of a kite structure in the sky formed by a beautiful and huge water trine. All of this energy, which has a siren behind it, is extremely rare. We haven't had this kind of sky in our lifetimes, with Jupiter exalted in the sign of Cancer, flowing to this lunation along with the north node of fate. Things about this moon make me wonder what in the world is going on. So we'll be talking about the world astrology just for a bit. I'm going to probably leave it to 15 minutes and then we'll cover your sign. I'm recording this video quite early on November the 4th, and the actual lunation is happening on November the 19th. I'll probably do an update video closer to the actual moon so that I can catch up with what world events transpired and make more sense of it. But at this point, we're starting where we are. Welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I've been using astrology for years, but I'm a total fan of the traditional astrology of fixed signs, of whole sign houses. And I do talk about asteroids and fixed stars as needed. I'll be bringing a few asteroids into our story today. You'll notice I get a bit of a blurry screen. I'm on my old MacBook Pro while they repair my water damaged MacBook Air Pro, and this is my MacBook Air. So I apologize for that. Turns out it wasn't a big deal, just need to dry out for 2 days. However, it's the big water trine in the sky even now as I report this to you on November 4th. So everyone here, watch out for spillage, slipping in water, of overflowing tubs, plumbing leaks. This is a thing that's going on all through the month of October and November, as we have a rare, big planetary pileup in water in the signs of Cancer, in the signs of Scorpio and Pisces. And I bet you guys are feeling that. The new signs who are water signs really feel this energy. The only thing I want to share with you before we get started and I talk about world astrology, show you the sky, and then cover your sign, is that I have one promotion I'm sharing with you. And that is simply that it is this time of year where I start to sell, I call it pre-sale, my All Signs bundle of 12 times 2+ hours, like 2-hour minimum videos for each sign, helping you walk through the overview of your sign in the year of 2026 and the month-by-month breakdown, and a PDF guidebook. Now, if you like that kind of stuff, it's my fundraiser. It helps me create a scholarship fund for students who can't afford my classes, for people who might need a reading with me who are in financial hardship. It helps me buy equipment and hire some staff to help me with my journey through astrology as a YouTube person. So if that makes sense to you, you want to give me some support, I'd appreciate it. Go ahead and please check my description box below for how to get a hold of that product. It's not delivered to you till December 1st. I'm creating the product now. You get it December the 1st, okay, in your inbox. And that price of $44 is never coming back again. If you want just to buy your own sign, you'll be able to do that in December for $33. But why not spend $44 and get every single sign? And you could share with friends and family, digital stocking stuffer, listen for your own sun, moon, and rising. It's a lot more affordable to buy the bundle than it is to buy a $33 individual sign. That makes more sense, right? So ay, 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 ay. That's like I can say, ay, 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 ay. I don't even know where to go with this story. Okay, I'm going to not show you the chart before I talk about the world astrology. I think a lot of you are like happy I brought it back, but I have to be careful. And I'm using code words, and a lot of you notice that I don't know how to say words that are going to algorithmically suppress me, like the nation of I in the Middle East. Okay, I could say the nation of IL, starts with an I, ends with an L, and maybe that will keep me from getting the algorithmic, back slap, whatever, suppression happening on this channel. At the Pluto Chronicles, at Substack, it's my newsletter. I write in depth about world events. It's always free. And I can say more freely what's really happening in the sky. And I can name the perpetrators and everything else. So if you want to really go ahead and check that out, it's in the description box. That's where I could be more Candace Owens, right? Like in the way I interact with you guys. So when we talk about this sky, we have so much energy going through the signs of Scorpio, Cancer, of course, and Pisces. So all of you Pisces people, the North Node, has been moving through your sign since January. We've got Saturn and Neptune backing up into Pisces. Then they're flowing to Jupiter exalted in the sign of Cancer, retrograding by the time we get to this moon on the 19th of November. He turns retrograde on the 11th of November. And we also have this flowing, beautifully to Scorpio, where the moon is happening at 28 degrees of Scorpio. And we'll have Venus in a detriment there along with Mercury. So something about this water energy is wanting to speak through the lunation. but it also indicates people who are particularly scorpionic, because the moon is in Scorpio and it's brand new and fresh, are going to be highly activated. It doesn't have to be a Scorpio rising. It could be sun or moon. Who are Scorpio sun, moon, and rising people in the world events, astrology, people that we're paying attention to in general? Well, Joe Biden has a Scorpio sun. King Charles has a Scorpio sun. Vladimir Putin seems to be a Scorpio rising. So I've just told you right there and then that you may expect some major news stories off of these folks. Maybe I would say King Charles, who just dethroned basically his brother, stripped him of his titles. I predicted that might happen. Has been stressed out by his younger brother's Epstein connections, that he's also fighting cancer as we speak, may decide it's just way too much, life force energy being drained, and he may step away for his health and pass the baton to William. And that is already embedded on the coronation of the king, that there will be a passing of the baton in a very shocking or sudden way, that he will likely not endure as the king. That's in the actual coronation type perfection astrology for the king. Also, Joe Biden was diagnosed with an aggressive prostate cancer that had moved to his bones a few months ago. I would suggest that it's very possible that this moon will bring into our awareness, either just around the time of the moon or up to 2 or 3 weeks after, that Joe Biden will be leaving the world. I mean, a death announcement of some sort. And I'll tell you why in a minute. And I'll show you the chart. Vladimir Putin, well, he's got, some superior strength that has been happening in his chart. I'm recording as Mars has already moved into the sign of Sag, which is Putin's second house. And so this is him being able to possess something and sextiling his fourth house, land. So if we're going to tie up that ordeal in the Ukraine-Russia story, this would probably be tying the knots on the final delineation of that. However, because he has a position in his own chart with Putin, with Mars in Sagittarius on the part of the Scorpion's stinger that's the poison, right? The star for the poison of the tail of the Scorpion. There's a possibility that we may see something happen to him. Now, we could say he has a health challenge, but we can also wonder if it was malice. So we're going to put him in that list of Joe Biden, King Charles, and Vladimir Putin also. Putin is terrified of being poisoned. He poisons people, and he's terrified of being poisoned. Well, that does not, neither of that surprises me based on Mars on this star of the poison of the stinger's tail. And because I've known this for years, I always thought his fear of being poisoned is because he's in danger of being poisoned. And if I could only remember the name of that star, because my brain is not thinking, it'll come to me. It doesn't really matter. It's the point I'm making. Candace Owens is a very important story in the next month of November. She's been out there broadcasting whistleblowing revelations, research, and investigation into the death of Charlie Kirk, her friend. And Candace Owens has many planets in Taurus. We don't have a time for her. She may be a Virgo rising. I have to spend time rectifying her. But Candace Owens has Venus, Sun, Mercury, and Taurus. But it's mostly Mercury I'm thinking about. Her Mercury is at 29 degrees of Taurus. The moon is at 28 degrees of Scorpio. This illumination forms a kite in the sky, which I said in the intro. It puts Mercury, her 29th degree is a fame degree, right? She's famous. It's also a turbulent degree. She has her 29th degree Taurus Mercury activated really intensely during the time of this moon. And it is Uranus sitting in the sign of Taurus that is also going to maybe bring some shock and awe energies to the narrative that is going on in our sky. Uranus is backed into Taurus and sits at 29 degrees of Taurus, right across from the moon at 28 degrees of Scorpio, right on top of Candace Owens' own natal Mercury. There's no way that she's not getting highly activated by this lunation that's going to occur on the 19th of November. And it could possibly mean that a day or two into that moon, right away, like a day before, the 3 days after, or up to 2 weeks later, massive intensity around something she's communicating to the world. And we'll talk about also her safety shortly. But earth-shaking disclosures Now she has what we call a kill switch in place, where if she suddenly passes, she's telling the world that she'll have a lot of emails sent out to broadcasters, journalists, and people she trusts to disclose what she knows that she hasn't told the world. And that could help her stay in a non-dead state. However, there's an asteroid called Libitina for funerals, traveling death rites and funerals, traveling with Venus on this lunation. Venus will be in, no, not on this lunation. Sorry, let me go back. On the new moon in the sign of Taurus, on the new moon in the sign of Taurus on November the 5th, Libitina is traveling on the Taurus full moon with Venus in Libra, indicating anybody who is a female seeking justice is also traveling with a death asteroid off the Taurus moon that is happening, full super moon on November the 5th. That moon unfolds its wings over, yes, 6 months, but 2 weeks. So there's a lot of, I'm worried about her wellness. I'm worried about the fact that she may be a target and that she may have put her life in jeopardy by speaking truth to corruption. Alrighty. Finally, Jeffrey Epstein, who is now dead, has his midheaven in Scorpio, his reputation and career. And even though he's no longer with us, these kinds of things actually, midheaven is this high noon, will activate even in death. And having a big kite, huge kite, activated from the place where his reputation and career is, especially given that it also activates shock and awe Uranus. It's going to indicate whistleblowers or more information connected to the Epstein case coming through the sky, most likely after the actual moon, within the 2 or 3 weeks after. And finally, there's one last thing to tell you about the world astrology. There's an asteroid called Nemesis, and it represents divine justice, asteroid number 128. And it's the goddess of retribution for evil deeds and undeserved good fortune, and to those who succumb to hubris, which means pride or arrogance. So if you have done evil deeds and there's going to be retribution for your evil deeds, then this also indicates with Mercury, the handhold energy of the kite, and I'll be showing you a picture of it, then we may see some justice for those who have committed evil deeds. And the last word I'm going to say on that is the Taurus moon that happens November 5th, the full moon, when we have Libitina for funerals on Venus around 28 degrees Libra at the time, also touches down on the sun moon of the leader of the nation of Ai in the Middle East, who committed some horrific acts and crimes of war. Okay. So that leader is in harm's way, life-threatening or health-threatening harm's way, because the goddess of justice may come back to haunt him. Or if it's not that, it's just anybody you can think of in the world who basically has undeserved good fortune, or is a goddess, or has done evil deeds that need to have retribution, or has got too much arrogance and think they are going to get away with anything. Those characters are looking at Nemesis, justice, divine justice hitting the mark. Okay. So those are world stories for you. I'm going to show you the sky and we're going to get going. And as always, when we have big water trines, which we do, we're going to see weather disruptions and flooding. It's already created flooding in Alaska. It created the hurricane that I predicted would happen using asteroid Melissa or trends anyway. And so we're going to see that happen. We're going to see more of that happen in the month of November. The weather issues, the extremities are probably still here. The saving grace is that Uranus is backed into Taurus, and it's sort of a saving grace. He's no longer, he's still, I won't call it a saving grace. I'll take it back. He's even worse, I think, because he's in Earth, fixed Earth, right? And so my prediction would be for world astrology, fixed Earth at the tip of a kite. It is possible we'll see a major earthquake happen connected to the lunation on November 19th. Okay, let me say it again. It's very possible we'll have a major earthquake connected to the lunation of November 19th. It could happen close to it. It could happen within 2 to 3 weeks after, but an earthquake energy, Uranus in fixed Earth, opposite the bottom of the kite. I'll show you the kite now. in all this water swirling in the triangle of the kite. These are my main predictions. Let's go ahead and look at the sky together and then move on to your sign. There's a strange Sabian symbol at 29 degrees, 28. There's the moon rise up to 29 of a squaw pleading to an Indian chief on behalf of her children. I know that sounds weird. This is the old way of saying, a native Indian female. I don't even know where to go with that, but it can be that there's somebody pleading for, divine, a prayer or petition to a solar figure for some divine assistance, like something along those lines. All right, so let's get going. I could dive into that on the follow-up video. I'll be doing another video on this as we get closer to the moon, just probably a day or two before, because I think this is going to be one of the most important lunations of 2025. If you have not hit the like button yet and you've been enjoying the content and you have not subscribed before, can you do so? Me and other channels in astrology are under a lot of pressure from the algorithmic the AI slop and the algorithmic downdraft that comes from that. And although I appreciate every one of you who is already a regular, and if you haven't subscribed and you still watch my videos all the time, would you help me out? But share this with your friends and family. And let's see if we can get this channel to keep bobbing along in the surface of reality at a level that I'm motivated to work on it. Okay. I think I'm going to be down about, I don't even know, 15 to 20% less subscribers in the calendar year of 20 at this rate of 25 than I was in 24. Okay. And also there's a lot of other metrics trending down. So I hope I'm doing a good job for you guys, but I don't think it's me. I see other channels having the same problem. Now, we may be drawing a card today to go with your reading. I'll let myself sit with that. If I do, it might be the Windwalker's Oracle, which is about wind deities and deeper meanings for you. The reason I might pick the wind deities, because I think this is like a stormy sea. And we have storm gods blowing winds on the sea, on the high sea. So here we have the sky. You'll see what I've been babbling away, but you'll see what I'm talking about, right? You'll see that here we have this Uranus is retrograded back here as on the 7th of the month of November. And that we have also the moon at 28 degrees in 1 minute. That's an 11, very divine justice number. 11 represents justice and divine justice. 22, 8, 2, and maybe it's not exact. Sorry. I'm not sure what the exact degree is. Let's see if I can get the exact degree. The exact degree of the lunation will be, here we go. It's at 11. Oh my God. It's an 11 in the minutes, minutes, and it's the degree is 28. So it's a 10 and 11. Oh my God, my brain. So we are going to take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a 12. It's the hangman in the tarot. So reversals, upsets, thing going inside out, topsy-turvy, and upside down. Okay. And on top of that, we have Mercury here. What does Mercury do in Scorpio? Blows whistles, tells secrets. So secrets revealed, whistles blown, information divulged that was hidden, especially given we have Pluto in a broad square to that whole handhold. Venus is in detriment. Venus is in what we call her exile from her home kingdom of Taurus up here. This can also represent women involved in blowing those whistles to the detriment of the woman, to their hardship, to some difficulties. First person that does come to mind, again, is Candace Owens, who not only has Sun and Venus up in Taurus, but also she has her Mercury and Taurus on top of Uranus at this time by transit. So I would give you an 80% chance that we're going to see a massive Candace Owens experience happen November 19th lunation around that time and in the 2 weeks that follow. And if I don't get that right, I probably will quit astrology because that's such a clear line of insight I have here, You'll notice, as I said, that we have this water trine anchoring it. Watch for flooding, watch for storms of emotional storms as well. But yeah, it's a kite which tries to lift something off the ground. And the tip of the kite is what the expression is as look at this. But it can always be negative as well as positive. And Uranus brings us surprises and a fixed earth. It could be a crypto surprise. It could be a economic shock. It could like a stock market shock. The United States, New York Stock Exchange sun is sitting up there where Uranus is sitting. So a shocking downdraft or a shocking market correction, or for example, could happen. And especially with Venus in detriment ruling the sun of the New York Stock Exchange, there's another prediction for you. And this is all happening around November 19th and up to a month later. Like, you have to give these lunations time to unfurl their wings, but it could be much closer in as well. Okay, so I'm going to do your sign, but I want you to know another thing about this. We have some interesting asteroids involved here, and I'm going to just pull them up. Give me a minute. I'll pause while I add them. So I'm not going to draw the asteroid in. I'm just like, just not in the mood. It doesn't matter. It's called Deucalion. And Deucalion is Noah from Noah's Ark, and it's sitting right on this new moon. We have Nemesis perfectly conjunct the moon, and within 1 degree, we have Deucalion. So if you think about Noah's Ark, you can think, obviously, it's a flood story. Look at my hair. Sorry, guys, I went to a float tank yesterday, and there's no way I can control my hair, so because it's all full of magnesium salt. And Deucalion is like, there's 2 stories. One is the flood and trying to rescue the animals as God said he should do. And the other one is a promised land and a rainbow after a storm, because then, the dove comes and there's a new beginning for humanity. Okay, so take what you wish on either angle. I think it's just about the floods myself based on the water trine. So again, with Uranus shock and awe, you would think tidal wave, right? So I'm going to predict a major shock and awe eruption in Earth of some sort, or volcano. It could be a volcano, but also floods are there as well, unless it's the lava floods, as lava floods down the side of a volcano. So hopefully you got all of that, and the world astrology is covered. Let's do your sign. We'll start with Aries. We'll whip through, and I'm going to talk about, you are not a lava flow. You are not an earthquake. You are a human being. I'm just going to talk about where that moon is. It's in Scorpio, and what that new beginning means for you. And I'm going to draw in Jupiter because he is in a flow or a trine. And I'm going to draw in Saturn and Neptune as well, because they're in the North Node, because they're in a flow. I'm going to tell you where the water trine is flowing for you and what you can expect to create, not just in the day of the new moon, but in the 6 months that follow. New moons take 6 months to unfold. Listening for your sun sign, that's about career purpose and your true essential core nature, your spiritual essence in this matrix of reality. You're listening for your moon sign. It's your mind and your thinking and your mind-body complex, how you think about life. It's kind of like, I'm grumpy, I'm a victim, I'm happy, life is good. But it's also your home and domicile. So often when we have events connected to our lunations in our natal chart, it can also represent changes in where we move or live and home life. And then finally, your rising sign is your character in the simulation, right? I'm a geeky, slightly autistic, well, actually just autistic woman who's an Aquarius rising, who likes science fiction, and who is here to give you astrology readings, right? This is so what it is. And basically, it's warm here today, or sunny, and that's why I'm wearing my summer outfit. But now I didn't even have it lined up. So that's me today. I'm the girl who walks out the door and her outfit's inside out and backwards. So that's me. That's my character. That's my geeky, goofy character in the simulation. That's your rising sign. All right. Please think about using whole sign houses. All astrologers on YouTube are delineating as if we're using whole sign houses. And so if you look at your Placidus chart, you're confused. So therefore, look at my free tutorial under my video, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Get my free asteroid course. Like 6,000 people have taken it. It'll blow your mind. You can use that to blow your own mind about your own chart and asteroids of friends, family, and places you've lived and more. There's so much to say. Everything under my description box, more ... Join me on Patreon, join me on Substack, find more of what you want in my description box below. Thank you. Let's go ahead. Oh, we have a bug in my house today. So the window's open and we have some fly in here. That's okay. It's part of Mama Nature. Let's start with Aries. Guys, I might have an outro today. I have to think about, I have an outro about an angel. Did I tell that story? No, I told that story. Coming off of Halloween on November the 4th, the veil is still thin. I'll tell you a ghost story about my mother and a will. Maybe that's the one I'll use. Okay. And we're going to move. My outros are like Lori talking about the weird shit about mystical stuff in life and giving you some exciting perspectives on reality when you're not tethered to it. Like, you know what I mean? Aries. The outros, I'm going to get my video editor to clip all my outros and stick them into one video for outros of 2025 and stick it into a video in December. It'd be kind of fun. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm coming up to the November 19th Aries. Aries. I hope my mic is actually cued to decent volume. I didn't even do a volume check before I started. Let me double check. We're doing you, Aries. Just hang in there. Strange day. I had a float yesterday, which normally like just makes me feel super rested the next day, but it was the weirdest float I've ever done. I usually could even take a nap in the float tank. That didn't happen. I was wide awake and I'd only had like 6 hours sleep. So I'm still like not quite back to normal. Sorry, I'm babbling, but I'm just checking the audio. Yeah, audio. We're in good shape. Okay, perfect. All right, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a once in a lifetime water trine fueled new moon in Scorpio. That's also a part of a kite. I think you can see the kite, right? This should be a line here. Trust me. Joining Jupiter and Uranus. And in my books, that's a kite. And energetically speaking, this water trine energy is happening from its base of a new moon, new beginning in the 8th house of your chunky money. This is money that you're not earning. It's money that you're inheriting. It's spousal support. It's shared resources with a business or love partner. It's money that could be a tax rebate. It could be new tax structures. It could be money that's connected to banks and mortgages and loans. And there's a new fresh start and a new beginning. And in that regard, this moon wants to open those doors in a very flowing, easy, aligned, and beautiful way with a grand water trine that says Jupiter will support you from prosperity and golden opportunities that are engendered from where you live, from your home base. Also could indicate money coming from somebody who's a legacy wealth person, from your family of origin, or with Venus's position from a spouse. So a spouse may also receive an inheritance and you're going to benefit from it. And you might notice that in the 12th house, there's a lot of water with the Neptune North Node combination. We haven't seen that since 1894, connected to Jupiter. That opens a chance for you to perhaps also flourish and increase your wealth by spending some time in your solitude, aloneness, enlightenment space, 12th house, by also traveling to distant shores and lands, and maybe with Jupiter's permission, spending some time in those shores and lands, more than just a weekend getaway, more than that, like really spending some time abroad would be part of what this could show you. And it can also jumpstart incredible riches to rags and rags to riches. I'd say rags to riches here, because Uranus can like jumpstart financial increase for you as well. Again, that increase could come from your earnings. It could come from inheritances. It could come from anything. The sun in this is a ruler of the house of good fortune. Saturn rules your house of windfalls, and they're all up and running in this trine. So some of you could win money in some situation, a gambling, speculation, lottery, any of those stories as well. And this is going to unfold not just on the 19th, as I always say, but in the months that follow. Let us grab a card for you about the actual moon from my dear friend, Renee Baribeau. This is her beautiful deck called the Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. And I went on the Camino with her. I've known her for years. We met like in 2010, one of my besties. And I thought we'd just feature her. I didn't know what deck to choose. And then just before we started the call, somebody said something to me. I don't remember how it came through as a synchronicity. And I realized that it was telling me to use this Windwalkers today. So I'm not going to read necessarily the whole card to you. I'll pick up oh, look at the light on my plant behind us. Doesn't that look pretty? It's mystery. And it's a Teutonic god, wind god, and it's reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. You know what? I'm just going to leave it at that, I think. I don't think I'm going to read the deck for these cards, because that's sort of self-evident. Saturn, the Lord of time and karma, is sitting in your 12th house, which is your past lives. And Jupiter, who's generous and magnanimous, rules that house of charity. And I have to say, by being charitable, you can reap what you sow. I've already been charitable. I'm going to reap those rewards. I give readings to people who can't afford it. I give free entrance to my classes for people who can't afford it. There's no scholarship fund. I just do it. I give money and food to the people I see in the street or struggling. And honestly, reaping what you sow is, have you been charitable? Why am I focusing on charity for you? Well, because, fellow Aries, I'm a sun, moon, my sun and moon. You have Jupiter ruling your 12th house of the feet of the guru, but also the house of being charitable to those underserved, underprivileged people. And if you are that way, then you will be reaping what you sow, as well as the 8th house is deeply, deeply karmatic. And there's also moksha and liberation spiritually involved in all of the water trine for you. And so these houses, 12, 4, and 8, are not only deeply karmatic for reaping what you sow, but deeply, deeply spiritual and wise, and can lead to a spiritual awakening or spiritual spaciousness in your life over the course of the 6 months that follows this moon. Finally, I want to tell you something, a secret, a little astrological secret. The 8th house is your retirement house. Yeah, because I know this. I've seen thousands of clients retire from a career or a long-term marriage when there's big activations of the 8th house. So there's a possibility here, because we see blessings from Lord Jupiter, that you'll be coming into some unexpected financial situation that's positive, that can allow for you to step away, or in quotes, retire from some part of work or work life or career path that isn't right for you anymore. Unfortunately, this could also retire you from a relationship if that marriage or relationship isn't working for you. You might hear these little babies made by Indigenous people in the United States from a little place in Arizona. All right, so let's move into the next sign. My goal is to give you what you need in a pithy and short way so that I can then go ahead and do something else with my afternoon. And it's a funny thing to be a YouTube content creator, guys, because we run on algorithmic fuel and fumes at certain times, and putting content out there when the algorithm begins to be non-productive is sometimes tiring. So I honestly say, I'm not begging you to share and like and subscribe, but if you would do that, it does help my channel and helps me be motivated. So Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. First of all, I don't think you're going to have anything like this ever again, right? You can't, because it was like 130 years ago that we even had Jupiter trining the North Node. Like, this kind of sky is rare. And it's a moon in the house of marriage, marriage, commitment, committed love, monogamous love. It is your seventh house over here, right? Possibly in this condition with Venus here, the goddess of love, and it's in the house of the marriage partner, him or herself. This may be about their life, that there's a new beginning, a fresh start. It's connected to Venusian matters in the life of your partner. It could be connected for them to an amazing new beginning and a fresh start in their work and career space. That's because Venus is rulership of the 6 in this chart. And also, there may be some massive experience of renewal and regeneration that this person has, because it looks to me like their career gains, or your partner, if you have one, if you don't worry about it, they will experience this major shift of expansion of worldly success, but with wisdom, truth, and knowledge informing the way this happens, Jupiter, right? It's not money and expansion without deeper wisdom and truth embedded into it. And a retrograde Jupiter is the guru, the wise one. Possibly your partner may have some career opportunity that requires a change of location from where you both currently live, if you live together, and that would change the home that you live in. Now, if it's about you and not about a person in your life, then there's many other ways that this could happen to show up for you. You might have a new beginning and a fresh start in a business associate, partnership, legal contracts, especially regarding matters to do with home, property, real estate. You may have some kind of prosperity emerging from a sibling who is 1 younger or 3 older than you, or even 3 younger than you. You could even see this as a doorway for a new relationship if you're single and you're looking for a relationship. And if you do want that relationship, you're going to meet a scorpionic female. So this is better for men in general that is reading. Single male Taurus is looking for a relationship. And then the other part of that would indicate a female who's also connected to perhaps things you're doing in your work life. Venus exalts your house of great gains from your career and your work life as well. So those single people Taurus is looking for love, especially men. It looks like you could get a love story coming through this moon in the 6 months that follow. And it would be a joyful, prosperous, and destined and fated love story. Why? Because Venus is sextiling the south node of fate in the fifth house of romance. Now, I'm not going to say it has to just be men. Let's open it up to women, especially women looking for women, right? But it may also be more accurate for males looking for females, just possibly. I can't say that's totally true. So we'll go with the concept anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and draw a card from the Wind Wisdom Oracle. Before I say that, you have a kite pointing at you. You got Uranus going back in your sign. Go watch my Uranus and Taurus video. It already came out. And this energy a few weeks ago is literally a grand finale. Go read my Substack column about this for your sign too. Please do. Because you're changing in ways, sun, career and purpose, and a deep core cell, moon, home, and emotional comportment, and rising. You're changing in ways that you don't even know where you're going. You're completely reinventing yourself. You're going to be finding that between now and April 26th, as this last gasp of Uranus transit happens, you're going to invent a whole new you. And this moon is jumpstarting it. And maybe other people that are important to you, women, love partners, are helping you rejuvenate, reinvent, and jumpstart yourself. That's the story. And if you're single, you get into a relationship that helps you reinvent yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and Windwalker's Oracle deck. I might need a nibble. I might need a bite to eat because I haven't eaten anything since a bowl of yogurt about 2.5 hours ago. Why don't you eat before you start your videos? That commenter. No, I eat when I feel like I'm going to eat. I don't know when I'm going to be hungry until I'm hungry. Northeast mountain wind is called beginnings. Okay, beginnings. It's a directional wind, north, south, east. So this is the northeast. So that means this whole sky is trying to take you in a new direction. And of course, there are write-ups, but I'm not going to read them. And it's a new beginning. Well, it is a new beginning. It's a new moon. Where is a new moon? In the house of long-term committed love. If you're in a relationship, it could just rejuvenate it. It could start a new way that the relationship flows and there's more ease and harmony and goodness and grace. But it also could be a new beginning where you live, or a new beginning for your partner in a new job area, and also a move because of that. So those are some of the themes. The idea of a new beginning is true to any new moon, right? That's a story, but it's all that water flow that gives it kind of like water propulsion, like a what do you call a turbine, a water turbine propulsing this moon for you into some new beginning. Let's see how far I can go before I have a snack. All right, come on. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Let's talk about it. I'm one of you because my sun's progressed there. No, your progressions are not as important as your natal positions, but progressions matter. Okay, so I've had a progressed moon since my mid-40s in the sign of Gemini. I'm 63. So as we look at this story, you'll notice this following storyline wants to unfold its wings. Okay, wants to move into a fresh start in your work. This is your service, your duty, your job. Is it drudgery? Is it destiny? Or is it duty? Where do you feel you're at in your work? If it is all something that is no longer working for you, when your work no longer works for you, you can reset the button with a new moon here every year. This particular new moon is like a reset button you've never had before because it's fueled by that engine of water, the turbine of water coming off the grand water trine. A new beginning in the work is flowing to Jupiter, who brings you wealth and prosperity in the second house. This new moon, though, doesn't get a Jupiter direct until next March. So it's almost like going back and inward to prepare for a new beginning so that you can then emerge from it 6 months later with a fresh start in the work. And because it flows to the north node of increase, volume up, and worldly success in the 10th house, it will bring you that. The north node is ravenous, hungry, and has no digestive tract. It's a serpent without the belly. This leads you to a condition sometimes of overworking, extending yourself for all the career success at the expense of something meaningful and deep and true for yourself. So keep that in mind. But I think this is a correction for you on this new moon. And with Neptune and Saturn up there, of course, it's to realize a dream come true and make it real in your career and reputation space in some way that you may not have been able to do ever before in the life of you. And Uranus says, hey, surprise. Does anything have to do with the 12th house? Digital income, borderless revenue, trade from foreign countries, working for a foreign company, moving to a foreign land to make the money you're currently making. South node in your 4th house. By the time we get to July of 26, some of you are moving your home. It does not mean it's a foreign land. Venus on the new moon is sextiling the south node. It likely would be a new property to rent. But because of Saturn's position, it could also mean a purchase. So renting or purchasing, moving your home, perhaps 6 months off of this lunation is in the cards. You could have a massive surge of money coming to you from multiple sources, from a spousal separation. This is going to sound weird. From a divorce settlement, from a spouse that was with you and suddenly you're no longer together but leaves you in their will. You're going to get a chunk of money coming from that kind of energy off the sky. You also could find yourself just having a massive surge of digital income and revenue from Uranus, but Uranus needs to turn around in February and go direct. Yes, in February. And while he's retrograde, it actually could go the opposite way. So don't be disheartened, because this new beginning may mean a decrease in digital revenue and borderless income. And I can attest to that. My ad revenue is down on YouTube, but that's to be expected, because a lot of the metrics are down last month. So I've been through the ups and downs. I don't panic anymore. I'm just using me as an example. Okay, so we're going to draw a card from the Wind Wisdom Oracle. There's only one wisdom, Windwalker's Wisdom. Windwalker's Wisdom. I want reading cards unless I'm confused by the card. I put my summer clothes away, and today was sunny. I wouldn't say it's warm, but it's sunny. And I decided I'm going to extend the summer. I'm off to Mexico. Yay me. About a week from now. And I'm looking forward to it. And for you Mexican folk who listen to my channel, I think your culture, your cuisine, your people. I've been going to Mexico since I was 16. My first trip to Mexico City and Acapulco on a Spanish trip. Okay, suspended action, doldrums. Okay, you know what the doldrums are? The wind isn't blowing, the sails are up, but there's no wind to propel the sailboat, right? And the quiet sea, the sailors called it doldrums. Suspended action, southwest doldrums. And it's a directional wind. Growth is paused, awaiting renewal. Does that surprise me? No, it's perfect. Why is it perfect? Well, first of all, suspended action is like the Hangman card. The Hangman card resonates with the 12th house of the tarot, but it's also Jupiter is retrograde. He's in your money and earnings house, your voice, vocation, and calling. He went retrograde on November 11th. When he retrogrades, this is till next year, until March, you're going to find yourself pausing, slowing down, looking deeper, and suspending or slowing down the work, the career, and the money. These are the Artha houses of the chart. And that's the perfect thing to do, because we need the fallow time when the winter comes and the soil is tilled and cold and icy and nothing's growing. And then we come into the fertile time in the spring. And so I want you to realize that if things are slowing down in some way in career, reputation, work, that's perfect. It's exactly what it's meant to be. You're just in the doldrums, and doldrums can be really creative. So let's move on to our next sign. And we are continuing our merry way around the zodiacal wheel, and we're moving into Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Yes, Cancer, you are getting that water trine like the other watery signs of Pisces and Scorpio. You're in the thick of it. Again, you guys could, overflow the bathtub, slip in the water, trip in a puddle. Be careful, burn yourself with hot water. It's a trine. It's probably pretty positive, but it's a lot of water, right? Water in you. Emotions, a lot of feelings, maybe a lot of nostalgia with Saturn, looking back, thinking over the past, being nostalgic for the past, especially Cancers, because you're very emotionally sensitive. Now, that said, all that preamble, you got to pay attention to a new beginning that happens here in your 5th house on the 19th of November. In this kind of once in a lifetime, beautiful water trine. And energetically speaking, you're going to start a fresh start in the house of children. That can mean that one of your children is going to be starting fresh. It's really about them. They're having a fresh start in life and something new. And with Venus there and in exile detriment, they could be having a fresh start in their life because they're ending a relationship and they need to get out of that relationship. And romantic, they have a fresh start because they are getting pregnant. And with Uranus across the way, nobody expected it. This is an exciting, unexpected pregnancy story for you or one of your children. When you look at Venus in the 5th house, one of your children may be dealing with some sexual illnesses as well, just because Venus is in a condition of the urogenital and she's in her exile or detriment. So you might be getting news of one of your kids dealing with something. That's not a big deal. Hey, I got another UTI or something. But also they may be going through something deeper, because Mercury is here and there's speech and secrets and revealed secrets. So one of your kids says, Mom or Dad, I'm transgendering, or Mom and Dad, I don't think I I thought I was straight, but I'm not, or vice versa, that kind of stuff. So those stories go on for your children. You're involved in them. If you're looking for romantic love, would I start a new relationship under this because you're single? I'm not sure. I'm not crazy about Venus in Scorpio because it bakes into that relationship the possibility of hidden secrets, but she is in her joy and in the fifth house. So possibly it could be the type of relationship that goes very deep, that moves into like deep layers of mystical and magical and spiritual energy with you and that person. So if you're looking for that kind of woo relationship, then you're single, then that could be heading your way in the months that follow this lunation. Also, if it's not the birth of your children, you're going to have babies out of this that you didn't expect. So unexpected grandkids coming too with that ninth house stellium. And if you're an artist, your muse is here, and the muse is going to give you a fresh restart button. And if you're an entrepreneur, a refresh in the entrepreneurial business angles as well. Venus is a ruler of the fourth house, and you start from the children. One of the children leaves the home. One of the children moves out. For some of you, that's possible as well. And Venus sextiles the third house south node in the middle of this lunation. And maybe you'll also be looking at a possible baking in of some relocation or change of neighborhood of some sort. And maybe even a chance for some short distance travel that could invite you into a new relationship because you are traveling long or short distance travel. In the 6 months that follows, this moon could lead to a new love story. Jupiter's protecting you. You're lucky. You're blessed. You're divinely safe. You have good luck coming in spades between now and July. It was already underway since June. And so this is a part of your every 12-year luck cycle. But Jupiter hasn't ever done this trine to the North Node ever in your life from this position. So there's something about the possibility of expanding your connection to mission purpose, deep meaning, dharmic life, aligning with purpose. If you're a writer at all and you're looking to publish or you want to be successful in the podcasting world, this can give you a really big energy as well. But you have to start something new. It's not something you've already done because it's a new moon in the house of the muse. So it's a fresh start and a new kind of success in the podcasting publishing world with Uranus in your 11th house. If that's the direction you go, you could end up having a big splash of celebrity influence, fame, if that's a part of the world you inhabit as a Cancer. And finally, in this kind of new moon, new beginning, fresh start, is possible that you may completely rewrite a script that you've had around sexual and romantic love. And the reason I'm saying this is that Saturn rules your marriage house, and Venus and the moon and Mercury are in the sex house. And there's something changing here for some of you. If you've been in a long-term love relationship, you might be rearranging the furniture in a way that's more comfortable regarding sex, regarding romance, and regarding long-term commitment. It could be a commitment to celibacy, for goodness sakes, or be commitment to newfound intimacy in a relationship that has dried out. So you got a lot of water, it's just gushing. Okay, let's go ahead and draw a card. All righty. I don't remember why I love this poncho, because every time I try to put it on, it never stabilizes. There's the thing that you know what? I don't even need it. It's like warm in here. It's like pajamas. I call this my Greek toga tunic dress. Okay, let's get a card from the Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. For you Cancers in the thick of a water, have some courage. Bing popo, Chinese, riding a tiger. Well, you can be safely protected with Jupiter in anything you want to do that requires courage. Courage in love, courage letting your child move out of the house, courage in pregnancy and continuing on. Interestingly, the houses that are active for you, houses 1, 5, and 9, they're all really about the meaning of your life, the dharmic path, aligning with true north, being connected to why you're here, and allowing for joy and creativity to emerge. Courage comes from the heart, right? And so I'm just saying, you're here to find that heartfelt courage as you explore the energies of the water trine. I do feel there's a UFO outside my window. I swear that's not a cloud. I do think that you have the capacity to move into less protective mode because it's going to sound weird, but cancers are like creatures of the shell, right? The claws and stuff, crab. And you creatures of the shell are highly defended and protective when you are territorially threatened or when you're emotionally threatened. And yet Jupiter's trying to get you to kind of blow it out, right? To be bigger and larger than life, to take some kind of expansion in your life and go with it. And because there's always a kind of risk that is embedded in that kind of expansion you're asked to take, whether it's, in this case, it looks like it's expansion, love, romance, travel internationally, alignment with purpose, expanding your relationship to your creative muse. It all is going to require courage because it takes a risk, and it takes a deep risk to lean into one's deepest meaning in life. It's easy to stay on the surface, and this is not what's being asked of you over the next months after this moon, 6 months after this moon. Leo, 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 Leo. So here's a reset button, right? A new beginning and a fresh start. It's an amazing time to be alive. This is a first in a lifetime grand water trine hooked up to a kite. And you're going to reset, renew, and rebegin something connected to land, home, property, real estate, domicile, private life. Certainly, this is sometimes quite literal. New moons can mean new homes. Now, not always, because otherwise every year people are going to move, right? Is this possibly a move? Yeah, in some ways it can be, because we have like loans, mortgages, escrow, banking up here. And it's flowing to the fourth house. It could be a purchase of a home or a sale of a home that's coming your way here. If you're going to move with Venus in the fourth house, it's not like to some like far off place. It would be a change of neighborhood. All right. A change of location. This chart also can suggest this new beginning means someone leaves the home. And in this case, with Mars in the fifth, a new beginning in the home is a child leaves the home, but also you could change your neighborhood, and both can be true in the 6 months that follows this moon. Venus is the exaltation lord of your mortgages and finance debts and all of that, which is positive. Even though she's in detriment, she could apply some leverage up there to those factors, maybe renew a mortgage, renegotiate financing for your home, reverse equity mortgages as well, where you take money out of your home by having basically a loan on the home. Those are things that you might do off of a sky like this. Now, certainly some of you may be changing your home. And that's one of the things I have to remind you of. If you're going to change your home because a marriage is falling apart, which is possible with Saturn in the 8th house ruling your 7th and Pluto in your 7th, and that's going to work really well and easy. Things are going to flow, and Jupiter is going to protect you. And you could be moving your home because you're also going to move it, in this case as well, to another country. All right. So some of you may end up moving to another country if it's connected to a marriage separation, right? In that condition. Finally, the shock and awe in the 10th house can mean shocking announcements about your social standing. Widowed, divorced, married, everyone's shocked. Or a shocking change of direction vis-a-vis the career path that you're on. If it's a career path connected to things you've been doing in and from the home. If you already have home-based work and career, you may have a surprising shift in the direction you're going to take in the 6 months that this is opening up. And even Saturn in this trine shows a workhouse connection. So changes in the work you do, especially if you're working in and from the home, and a radical, exciting, exhilarating shift of direction in the 6 months that follows this moon. So we don't just focus on the day of the moon ever. That's not what happens. And these things don't time to one day. I'm just pausing, taking a deep breath, allowing for myself to settle a bit, and get moving onward. Well, of course, it's unpredictable because that's Uranus, right? And there's a gust of wind, and it's a dynamic wind, and it's swift bursts, ignite decisive action. Now, it does resonate for your chart for the simple reason that houses 4, where the new moon is happening. And don't forget, Deucalion's in the 4th house, the flood god. So be careful. If anybody's going to have a flooded home, it's going to be Leos. And hopefully not because a tidal wave or a hurricane is flooding your home. But I'm just telling you. I lived in Annapolis, Maryland, and a hurricane hit the East Coast, and our house flooded. And I was in Annapolis, for goodness sakes. And the whole Chesapeake Bay overflooded, and little rivers and tributaries. I've been through that. So We had a sump pump, I think, so it was good. Or we pumped it out and we bailed it out. We bailed the basement out. The fourth house and the 10th house are the stakes of the chart, and Pluto is in your seventh. All said and done, you are under huge like life change energy. The wheel of your destiny is shifting, but it's unpredictable, it's swift, and hopefully it's exciting. And we saw some of the reasons why it might happen already in the astrology. If you are a Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign, a first in a lifetime amazing event, last in a lifetime as well, flowing, beautiful water trine activates a fresh start and a new beginning in your third house. Now, because your third house is like the neighborhood and the daily environment that you live in, and there's a new beginning, this is a reset button that can, for some of you, change where you live. And with Pluto in the sixth house, if it involves a rental property change, because you're a tenant, for example, then that's definitely up here for you between that November 19th moon and as late as next spring, 6 months later. The other element of this is this fresh start, new beginning that's happening also involves Mercury. And this is the third house of writing, communicating, teaching, and learning. And you have Uranus also in an educational house. And so publishing, podcasting, teaching, and learning, fresh starts and new beginnings. And because Venus is embedded here, it could be fresh starts that come through a sibling female, one younger, that come from aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, or that are delivered to you courtesy of somebody in your local environment, like a neighbor or someone you see on the daily, and they're going to give you a new opportunity here. Hey, I saw a property that's being rented down the street. Hey, you see, it's amazing. Go take a look. I mean, local environment people can trigger a change of residence in a local neighborhood, likely within the same city, but certainly a change. The other one I like about this is Venus is the ruler of your house of income and earnings, right? And Mercury is the ruler of your 10th house of career, and they're both hugging the moon. So there can be a change of career earnings and a change of income, and also of the actual job you have, the career that you have, coming off of the moon. And it could even just mean that your location of where you live may come through a change of career, like you're going to move to a new area closer to work. You know, having the seventh house so activated is also bringing in your marriage partner, spouse, long-term committed love partner, if you have one. If you're single, you can meet somebody because you're traveling or you're in a learning environment, or you can meet them in the local neighborhood or even on a dating app. I don't know if I like this for a new relationship because Venus is in detriment. But those of you who are already stable in a relationship, this moon can say, hey, we're going to expand the relationship and we're going to bring it into a new level of some sort, a new elevation of some sort. And it may surprise or shock or exhilarate you and the world. And Uranus is in the house of churches and religious institutions, and there can be a announcement of a wedding or engagement or those kinds of things. And even Mercury rules the house of weddings. So some of you, long relationships, steadfast, can go to another level and take it to the next, moving in, getting engaged, getting married. And you might be a bit surprised. It may happen very swiftly. And then Jupiter in the 11th house of good spirit, water trining up here. Lots of favors from an elder sibling, friends, benefactors, and allies helping to support you in your life at this time and over the next 6 months. It's like out of the woodwork, everyone's got your back, but also your career gains will increase. You will be getting more money from some shifts that are happening connected to work and career in the course of the next 6 months. And it's really fortified by some kind of Venusian desire to perhaps start afresh in work and find something that's more financially sound, but also maybe more meaningful. And that's what Jupiter will try to do for you. Okay. He rules that Scorpio moon that's in the new moon, which is, yes, in detriment, but I don't think of them that way with new moons. And so, being in a meaningful career that's also saturated with more abundance or more gains or profits from your career is something the sky's wanting to give you, but it has to be engaged with meaning. Venus is in detriment. She's the money goddess. And maybe the work you're doing, it's not meaningful right now. It's like same old, and you're just ready to change it up. And in surprising, exciting ways, you can do that in the next 6 months. And if you're not a digital type or online writing, podcasting, all that teaching, this is a sky that could invite you to go in that direction. Okay. So it may be a side hustle for a while, but then you can never know where it'll lead. Let's take a look at the card. Sovereignty. It's a Hungarian wind god. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. and it is request with reverence yields power. Okay, reverence and requesting. Ask and ye shall receive. Uranus is in the house of God. New moon is in the house of the goddess, 3rd and 9. Jupiter is the dispeller of darkness and the guru in the house of fairy godfather, of windfalls, as pennies from heaven, of your long range goals and dreams, and bequeathment of those dreams, wishes come true. So I'm going to go with that, but I'm going to say there is something about it. Request with reverence yields power. Make a request. I would request the divine, like, have your back. Okay. But also sovereignty. What does sovereignty mean to you? Ponder, what does it mean to be a sovereign? That means like a king or a queen, really. Okay, we're going to go on to the next sign. All right, let's move on. The next sign, of course, is always after Virgo, Libra. It's called zodiacal order, guys. I'm going to start trying to get some evergreen content out there for you. Teaching Tuesdays, I'm going to call it, but I'm just trying to settle. The production schedule is intense, and I need to figure out a timetable that's working. All right, so November 19th, not the 20th, we have a once in a lifetime, amazing water-fueled, really fresh energy, beginning something new. Sorry. In your earnings, resources, and money house. Now, like, yes, we have a new moon here every year, and every year you don't start completely fresh in your earnings, but Jupiter in the 10th house and Saturn, Neptune, North Node in the 6th house, first in a lifetime, is literally a big new fresh beginning. And it's going to change the way that the money happens to come to you. It could be a new job, a new position in the job. There's something that wants to shift here. And he's giving you more authentic wisdom and power in the work. And Jupiter will only give you what you need, not what you want. But he's also pretty wise, and he's retrograde. So he's going for the deep gold of, a career that deeply satisfies, brings joy and meaning to your life. Well, at the same time, Saturn is like working hard. You're working hard, trying to make it real, trying to make a financial career thing real. North Node says worldly success, but a lot of expansion and growth and volume up in the workhouse. And this can mean you probably have been working really hard and getting a little bit burnt out. Would have been true over the last few months. But now there's a new story here in this new moon. Partly it looks to me like with Venus out of dignity in the earnings house, there's a story about money. Is it worth it? Something about the cost of your time, the cost of your, I don't know. I mean, may go back a day so we can actually look at it properly. It's costing you something. The cost of success. What is the cost of success? There's a little bit of that going on here. And you could definitely change your diet and habits completely. Things that go in your mouth and nose, including completely letting go of an addiction off of the sky. That's a good thing, and your health will improve for sure. This is ideal for addiction relief and improving health through dietary changes. Absolutely. But on the other hand, it is a money house, and she's earnings and resources and financial wellness. Something could be revealed, a bit of information or news coming through off of this moon, opposite Uranus. I don't think it's a shock per se. I mean, it is surprising you, but the energy is so protected by Lord Jupiter. So it could look like an unexpected development in your work. Now, I'll give you some scenarios. A sign-on bonus or severance package. Okay, there you go. New or ending. But you're glad it ended. You're glad they gave you the money. You're willing to go. You want to rest a bit, and you'll take the package. There is like retirement energy with Uranus in the 8th house. And so it could be money from retirement, like something like that, like, final tally of your sick days you didn't take, and you get some money in a chunk. And yet it also takes you into condition here of looking at your values. What are your core values? Is it to make money, be rich? Is it to be satisfied in the work you do? This is an Artha triangle. This water is made out of material success, prosperity, work, career, earnings. It's made of the pentacles energy, if you're a tarot lover. And in that regard, it's easy to fall into the trap of just making the money because that's the goal of life, or being wealthy. But that's not what this chart wants you to do. This chart wants you to find meaning, wisdom, and change in pacing yourself so you don't burn out. There is a thing with Venus here. Finally, she is the ruler of your body, your first house. And therefore, with that 6th house pretty activated, if you're going to get sick off of this moon, close to the moon in particular, it's because of your own self-undoing, working too hard, burning out, and dietary problems and habits. Second of all, you'll start afresh and maybe do a cleanse and start new. That would be good for you. Mars is the ruler of the moon in your 3rd house. I'm wondering with the North Node, this looks like a change of neighborhood, Looks like some of you may be considering a new home and changing your home, renting a new home, renting out a property you own. And finally, I can't ignore the Uranian impulse in the eighth house could look like an inheritance money coming to you as a result of the sky within 6 months of the lunation unfolding. This would be an elder, and this could be a father figure. So an elder father figure and some inheritance money coming your way within the 6 months after the lunation. That won't make sense for some of you at all. You'll say, I don't have anyone. That's fine. It's not for you. It's for somebody who does. Let's move into the next card. I did a reading this morning, guys, because I opened up some spots for my Patreon community. They're the only ones that get readings with me. And we do it by like a lottery. Basically, it's a contest because I have 700 Patreon members. And then I only open up like 14 spots, but I had the most amazing reading with the most amazing woman. And I realized I still do love doing readings. Like and of course they're paying for them. It's a lottery to get in. And it was so nurturing and nourishing to my soul to support this one amazing woman this morning. Well, you got the cyclone. It is a water trine, right? Wow. Upheaval. Wow. It says it's a dynamic wind, whirlwind of fate and unstoppable forces. It is a whirlwind of fate. The north node and the south node are involved in this. Well, the north node in the water trine, south node's offside, but you get the gist, right? Okay, so let me give you a message around that. I'm going to say some of it, it's very emotional, turbulent, intense energy churning through houses 2, 6, and 10. It is Jupiter's job to give you what you need, not what you want. We always think he's Santa Claus, fairy godfather, and he is. But we often don't need, you have to, it wishes to your godfather, godmother, and they're looking at those wishes going, really? Like a little kid says, I want to eat all the ice cream in the store. That's their wish. And you know better that that's going to make them very ill. Jupiter's that guy. So there may be some turbulence as you reroute yourself in money, earnings, work, and resources with a little shock and awe Uranus energy there as well. Hang in there. Let me know how it goes. Moving by day. Sorry. Days. No, hours. And here we go to Scorpios. Well, yes, you're one of the water signs in the thick of it. How are you feeling? Is it a lot of intense emotion for you, or are things flowing? Because they could also just mean things are flowing. Everything's moving in a great sense of flow and ease, particularly when it comes to art, creativity, entrepreneurship, international matters, judges, courts, international travel, visas, things connected to higher education, things connected to use of your creative, artistic, and natural abilities. These are all in a state of flow on this chart. And this is going to be, yes, on the moon, but it's been underway already, right? Through much of November, December, there's been this water trine, October, November. And in the sky, it looks to me like a new start and a fresh beginning wants to happen for you as you, right? You are the fresh start. You are the new beginning. Scorpio sun, I want you to pay attention to matters connected specifically to career and purpose that are starting fresh. Scorpio rising, anything in your life can start all over, new fresh beginnings. And Scorpio moons, of course, connections to your home and emotional set points and new beginnings and fresh starts. Now, in this kind of chart, Venus is in your sign. You like this every year. She's witchy and she's wonderful. She's season of the witch. She comes in there. She enhances your intuition. She gives you a better look. She helps you dress a little more goth if you want, but she's got your tattoos, whatever. She's got your back. But nonetheless, she's in a sign of exile or detriment. She wants to be over in the 7th house, which is your marriage house, and she's not able to go there. She could just see it across the way. You might be very much relating to a marriage partner's problems. You might not even be your emotional storm, for example. Because Venus is reflecting your marriage partner in the house of you, there's some consideration of a long-term partner and some surprising, unexpected developments in their life that there's a communication, a Mercury, Uranus, and it could even be there's a big development, like they're unexpectedly, shockingly pregnant, and that would be a woman, right? You have to be the guy for that to work. And you're like, it's not bad or good. It's a story, and you're really having to pay attention. North node, volume up in the house of children, pregnancy, conception, Saturn, karma, and destiny, fate, right? Fated pregnancy. Jupiter is fertile in the Cancer ninth flowing down. Also an unexpected birth or pregnancy of a child leading to a grandchild. But if for those of you who are happening to be in a marriage-like relationship, there is that story for you as well. I say unexpected because of Uranus bringing the surprise, but it could be a delightful surprise. Maybe I'm happy. I'm so excited. We're having a baby, and that might be really up your alley. And it's not going to happen on November 19th. You got to give it up to 6 months. I've said this so many times, up to 6 months after the moon, conception of grandchildren and children in this chart. Artists, creatives, and entrepreneurs, especially the artistic type, Venus rules the arts. She's flowing to the muse, and we have increase of success and worldly success in the artistic realm. Plus, Uranus can be fame or fortune connected to a viral something, a viral song, a viral publication, a viral book, something can take off. I say viral because also Uranus represents the World Wide Web, right? And Venus is in charge of that. So some viral success in something you've been creating, podcasting, teaching, writing, books. I don't know what you're up to. Something it can have international and viral success. Like my Scorpio son's on TikTok, plowing away as an artist, as a side hustle because he loves his music. And you never know. He could have a nice search, but he and his wife are thinking of having a baby, so that could happen too. It's not an either or. Finally, unexpected travel for foreign countries and lands with a significant other, leisure travel to a foreign place. Venus is the ruler of your 12th house of distant shores. Jupiter's in the house of foreign lands. Also, Mars is the ruler of your income and earnings. And the sun is a ruler of your career, and this new moon could easily lead you into a very powerful new direction for the way you make money. In the 6 months follows this moon as a new beginning, and a fresh start occurs here as well. Now we're going to go ahead and we shall go into your cards, and we're going to draw a card from the Wind Oracle, Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. Okay, that's because on the Camino we're walking, and then there's wisdom in the wind. I love this one. Cardia. This is a Roman goddess, facilitator, and the key word is open what is shut and shut what is closed. Sorry, open what is shut, close what is open. So it's like one door opens, another closes. So you have to open what is shut, someplace you're stuck, and close the door that's open. It's kind of contrary, Something needs to change. Now, that's an interesting card for this guy. With Venus in detriment or exile in your sign, it is possible, because she rules your house of creativity, art, inspiration, and the muse. She's the exaltation lord of it, that there's something you need to close down in your life. And Mars is your earnings house to do with the work you do. Like, is the work you do satisfying you at a deep, creative, artistic level? And maybe that door is open. You're doing some kind of job or work, but it's not actually feeding your soul, feeding your vitality, feeding your enthusiasm, feeding your inspiration. That's what Venus would like for you. She exalts your 5th house. And I think some of you are looking at that big existential question. These are Dharma houses that are awake, right? 1, 5, and 9. That's why a collateral change of work may occur within 6 months, because something isn't feeding your soul and you're ready to move on. To open what is shut, to open a new door that you haven't taken yet. Okay, let me take a sip of my kombucha. Oh my God, it's so good. Wowzer. All right, so thing I want to tell a Sagittarius listening today is that you have this amazing first in a lifetime, new beginning, fresh start in the 12th house. And it's so hard to pin my tail on this donkey for you, because this is a hidden house. So they're all hidden, really, but mostly 8 and 12. And there's something about this is like, if you're in a spiritual quest, great. Then this is very like reboot and restart and refresh. On a more practical note, there's like potentially legacy wealth and inheritance money from an elder father figure, illness, hospital story for some of you, or potentially from a sibling who is older than you, and money coming from that sibling. But again, it can be more legacy wealth or inheritance from a sibling older than you. And in this kind of sky, I feel like also there's a strong compulsion to make some decisions around your home life that can involve moving to a country foreign to the one you currently live in. It doesn't mean you're going to move on the moon, or even in the 6 months that follows. You might be making arrangements, contemplating the finances, selling a home so you can get some cash out, arranging a mortgage. You're going to take your time. Jupiter's retrograde until March, so likely nothing really gets fully gone and on. But if you do move your home and you sell a home or something, like say in the spring, you might go to a place you've lived before, even if it is a distant shore or far off land from where you currently live. You know, it may be somewhat familiar to you. And everybody's retrograde. So it's like going back to the past, back to a home, a childhood home, a place you grew up or something. Jupiter is retrograde in the 8th house of chunky money, but that's legacy wealth or money from the family of origin or from that one sibling older that always was supposed to come to you and is coming to you now because it's maybe overdue in some way, you know. Uranus is in the house of work and health. Be careful for your health on this one, especially around watery issues, but shoulders, neck, throat, be cautious there. Unexpected developments could appear that impede your health at this time, closer to the actual moon, not necessarily over the next 6 months. You could have a surprise regarding a pet, and a pet being ill, and maybe a pet passing. And the other element of the sky is definitely the idea of leaning more deeply into spiritual truth and diving into healing your childhood wounds, your psychological baggage, and your karmic histories, storylines. So if you want to use it instead of lose it, I'd be working on that stuff and breaking free of karmic patterns that no longer serve you. Mercury is the ruler in this moon, the ruler of your marriage house. Jupiter's in the house of the shared resources in separation and divorce. If you're in a relationship and it's not solid, it hasn't been going well, this could catapult this relationship into the phase of working through the separation content. And when Uranus moves back into the 7th house, which is not going to happen until next April 26th, then this will be a really activated story, right? We take this moon, we had 6 months, so it can get us all the way through till April. Mars is the ruler of the lunation, which is why you're trying to make decisions right now. And everything's kind of tucked away in the back end. You're thinking about it. You're contemplating your next move in solitude. You're not sure what you want to do. But this moon will help you make those decisions within the course of maximum 6 months. Around a change of home, a change of job, a sudden rental opportunity, a property rental opportunity. That's what I got for you. It was this Chiron's got a wound in the house of romantic love squaring Jupiter, right? So it's like, if you're in a wounded sexual and romantic and long-term love, then this story is trying to have a radical change of direction, one way or another, right? One way or the other. It's got many other ways it could go. I would say don't start a new relationship under this. And it's not a good way to start a new relationship, not with Venus tucked in the 12th house of hidden enemies. Hopefully that's not going to impact you in a negative way. But finally, I say Venus is, attending to this new moon, and she is the ruler of your house of long-range plans and dreams and goals, matters connected to your career and earnings. But I'd say a lot of you are revising your long-range plans and goals in the months that follow this moon, and you've got an eye to making executive commanding decisions that give you a kind of a, I don't know, like, well, give me an example of someone who's really good at making decisions, like a commander in chief or a general or something. And you're really knowing the lay of the land, like, what decisions you need to make, and you're tuned in, and you're getting the tuned inness, some of it from solitude, like just meditating, time alone, not listening to any other voice but the one you hear in your own stillness, because you're going to make some major life choices in the next 6 months, Sagittarius. You're going to change the lay of the land of your life. And with Jupiter moving into your 9th house next summer for a year, some of you are pretty well going to either go back to school or maybe go off to another country or travel extensively. Something's trying to change here. Maybe move to another country. July of 26 to 7. Separation. Shu, the ancient Egyptian goddess Shu. Ground yourself in nature, sure. You can ground yourself in nature all you like, but To me, this is not really just about that. This is about something you have to separate from in your life, whether it's a situation, a neighbor, a place you live, a person, or separation happens. We lose somebody, they pass away, we're separated from them. Marriages fall apart, we're separated from that person. Okay, that's a bit of a downer. Hope that's okay. I mean, I'm trying to make something good out of it. Chunks of money are trying to come. Is that what I was going to say? Chunks of money are trying to come to you in the next 6 months after this moon. Oh, why is my mouse not working? Oh, for one thing after the other in my world. I guess I'll figure it out later. Let's go ahead and talk about Capricorn. Cappies, one thing you got to say about this is that it's once and first in a lifetime, last in a lifetime. Big energies here with a big water trine and a kite. It is new beginnings and fresh starts in your 11th house. 11th house is a lucky house. It brings windfalls. And you got Uranus in the house of speculation, gaming, and lottery tickets. You've got Jupiter exalted in the 7th house of legal contracts, significant relationships and partnerships. And you have a beautiful stellium with a north node of increase in your 3rd house. So you're going to play a lottery. You're going to play the lottery ticket from the local area. Like, it would even be better to play a local lottery, but even if it's just, I bought the lottery ticket at the 7-Eleven, that would be good. You could win some money. The kite points at some kind of a surprising, shocking thing. With the 7th house, it might involve another person in your life too. You know what I mean? Like, they bought the ticket and you benefit from it, for example, like your partner, your significant other buys it, lottery ticket, wins, and you get some collateral money from that. But there's something like that trying to happen. Now, with a default mode, Venus is in detriment and she's in the 11th house. It's not always bad. She can pull the luck of winning money through speculation, gambling, and gaming. After the lottery is that 5th house, good fortune, into the house of windfalls. So that does kind of work in a way that I actually like more than I don't. So there is that. Venus exalts your 3rd house at short distance travel, and she's with the new moon, and she rules your 10th house. You may be making some big changes about moving to another neighborhood and a location, different location, but it looks like a rental with Mercury ruling the rental 6th house. So you may be renting a property in the next 6 months. One of your children could become unexpectedly pregnant, and it might not be timely for them. They're not really wanting to be pregnant. That could happen. And you could also find that a new relationship blossoms in your life from somebody that you considered a friend. In the 6 months that follows, like, a friendship becomes a relationship. And it's quite prosperous and joyful and full of powerful, good energy and surprisingly positive stuff. But you might involve having to relocate where you live or to travel for that relationship. And this is a very, what are your desires? What are your desires? And how do you relate to others? Kind of, 11-7-3 energy going on, relationship and desire. So you're focused on looking at what you truly desire. Now, a Venus in condition of exile, when she really belongs to the house of true love, could mean a fresh start, a new beginning, because of a relationship that's no longer going to be there. But you would friend zone this person for sure. Venus falls into the house of friends. So you might friend zone a love relationship in this moon. And make a clear distinction. Oh, this is just friends or something like that. Mars rules the lunation and is moving into your 12th house. Mars in your 12th house loves to do a lot of stuff, but one thing he does is likes to travel internationally or to distant lands and shores. And with a North Node in the travel house also, and South Node in another house, there's a lot of travel energy in this chart for you. And I really wouldn't be surprised if you don't spend some significant time traveling in the 6 months that follows this moon. Mars is cutting through the dross of your karma and past lives. And he's helping you clear karmic childhood wounds as well, as he sets off a new beginning in the house of your long-range goals and dreams, your wishes, the house of positive and lucky windfalls, and the place of career profits. And Venus rules your career house. There may be a fresh start in career, a new beginning, but it's not I don't think it'll be traditional. It's activating more of the entrepreneurial instinct for you to start some new career path. And if you're a teacher, educator, or you wish to be a leader, then those kinds of careers, as long as you're your own boss, can be really quite successful. And also encourage you to consider getting up and running in the digital landscape and working with the internet more, with the energies of that third house so active. Let's go ahead and draw a card for you. All right. Almost dropped the whole deck on the floor. That's typical. There's a tempest. Of course there's a storm. We have storm gods in the sky on top of it all. Like we have asteroids like Ceto and stuff. We all the flood asteroids activated. We have this tempest. Roll with the storm. This is a Maori / New Zealand god. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Roll with the storm. Well, I can't bring it any other way, right? A fixed sign. It's in the house of children and romance and shock and awe and shakeups. All right. As well as committed love. Now, the storm could bring you a storm of financial success through an unexpected windfall, for example. With Jupiter in the 7th house, so I got to see someone else involved. It's like, are you getting money because your significant other gets money, or did they win some money? Something like that could happen. All right, let's move on to the next sign. It is a tempest. Roll with the storm. Caps, you're good at rolling with anything. You guys stoic, sturdy, and grounded energy. You got this. Trust me. You'll be rolling with it with no problemo. No problemo. These are good houses anyway. This is at 5th and 11th are positive houses. Okay, it's not as intense as it could be. It's not too shabby. All right, Aquarius, this is a first in a lifetime moon with a grand water trine. And this grand water trine lights up the beautiful Artha houses 2, 6, 10, increasing your money, earnings, resources, wealth, job, possessions, reputation, social standing, all of that's up in lights. However, everyone's retrograde. So it's kind of pulling it back so they can zip it forward in the spring. The other energy going on here is a new beginning in your career house, right? The 10th house is the world seeing you in the high noon. I don't care if you're retired. Are you hiding in bed all day? What are you doing in the world that people witness you doing something? And now you've got this public reputation, visible action in the world, segment of the sky, purpose, career, vocation, profession. And it is going to be changing. It's a new beginning, new moon. Now, yes, every year we have a new beginning, new moon, you change something about it. But this is not that. This is like a big water energy with a kite. This is unusual. And now Venus is in her detriment in Scorpio, exiled from the home where she'd like to be tucked into the covers, reading a book, planting a garden, essential pleasures, enjoying company in the home. And she's stuck in the career house. So I'm an Aquarius rising, so I'll speak to my rising for a minute. I put out the YouTube content, feed the beast, like shoveling coal into the train. I missed one Monday in last month and my algorithm tanked out on that. You've got to keep feeding the freaking coal into the machine of the beast of the algorithm. And that's an example of a Venus in exile, giving the goods of success, money and reputation, but at a cost, at a price. Something new wants to start, something new wants to begin. All right. And she rules the 9th house. So it could be writing a book, teaching a longer class, like a professorial thing. It could be publications or podcasts, starting a new Substack or podcast thing. Substack's taken off on me. I'm really liking that a lot better. It's less hard to create the product there. But there's something new that wants to begin. But Venus also owns your Dharma house, which we want to be aligned with purpose. So it's not just about production and intensity or you're not enjoying the work somehow. It's also you want the work to be meaningful and purposeful at this point of your life. And Uranus is a shock or a surprise connected to home property and real estate right across the way in the 4th house. It's very possible with Jupiter in the 6th house, you're moving. There's a sudden, shocking, surprising move, and there's also a change in the work, career, and reputation all at once. And with the North Node increasing a volume up, your worldly success financially. Saturn says diligence over time and hard work, and Neptune says dreams come true. Like there's a lot going on here, but everyone's retrograde. Everyone's retrograde. You're on it. Everyone's retrograde. It's a huge retrogradation. Jupiter's retrograde. Your Mercury's retrograde. This means everything is kind of pulling back, like from where it was, like the drawstring pulls back, but it will spring forward again, especially when Jupiter goes direct in March. So be patient because as you rearrange something to do with work, home, earnings, resources, dietary habits, style, and health. And letting go of addictions is in here too. All of that means success over time. Saturn, patience. Saturn goes direct around November 26th or so. So even that, you need to give patience to wait for this sort of Titanic of this water chart to turn. Mercury does rule your romance house. The sun rules your commitment house. There may be a new romantic liaison if you're single coming through the sky in the 6 months that follows this new moon. But because the moon is in the career and reputation space and Jupiter's in the workspace, and everybody's like in the money space, if a new relationship comes to you, it's an 80% chance you meet this person through your professional activities. All right. And finally, Mars wants to increase your career profits. He wants you to change your long-range goals and dreams. He wants you to tackle with great passion, making money from your career in a way that's meaningful. And he's baked into this moon because he rules it and he's in the 11th house. But you can also meet people who are like this Mars and Sag, allies, benefactors, helpers, who would likely be male, who wish to support you in terms of increase of success in your chart, in your life. And the success is financial gains from career matters directly. So feel free to say yes to support from others, particularly males, in the success that you wish to achieve in your career. And finally, sometimes Mars just cuts, ends, and severs. And as he rules this 10th house where the lunation happens, you might just say one day, I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm finished. I'm finished with this particular aspect of my career path. Doesn't mean you're quitting the whole path. It means an aspect of the path may come to a close. So, like, I don't know, you're like in like a certain division in the company and you say, no, I can't deal with this anymore. You're going to try to change that and move into another area, for example. Yeah, it's just an example. Or entrepreneurs like me, I can shut down one aspect of my money and resources and business and to open to something new, right? So those are some examples for you. Let's go ahead. We only have one more sign left. Oh my goodness, I got to get rolling, guys. I have to get off to my Tuesday chiropractor's appointment. It's weird because we changed the time in Canada. It's called fall back. And that couple of days ago. And so now it's like feels when I look outside, like what happens is it's light longer in the morning and it's dark sooner now by an hour. And it looks already like, oh my God, it's night already, but it's not. So this is 3:30 in the afternoon, but it looks like 4:30. Okay, sovereignty, second one to get this. Request with reverence yields power, and it's Hungarian. Request with reverence yields power. Venus is in this moon and she rules the house of God. And there is something that you might consider, therefore, about what you want, ask and you shall receive, is way to receive the power that you're here to experience. And sovereignty, sitting on the throne, is a part of what your energy is asking you to do. Sometimes sitting on the throne is to get off the throne and find a better throne. I like this for us a lot because Venus is in this mix of this moon. She's sitting with it, but she rules that house of divine wisdom and knowledge, the 9th house. If you're going to petition the gods, you're going to do it through the 9th house. Ask and you shall receive. So I would encourage all of us Aquarians to kind of like, don't do it on your own. Don't ask dead people to help you. That's the 8th house. Like, ask God to help you, show you the way, show me the signs. I give up. I surrender. That old thing about the lottery ticket. God says a person tries to play the lottery over and over again. And no, they don't play it. They keep praying to God to win the lottery and they die one day and they get to see God in heaven. And they say, you never helped me win the lottery. And God said, you didn't buy the ticket. Like, I kept trying to get you to buy a ticket. So you got to ask for help and you got to do the thing God tells you to do. Okay. Or the divine power tells you to do. That's our formula. I'm going with it. Let me know how it goes. All right. I'm down for that. All right. Finally, Pisces, sun, moon, rising sign. I'm not tired. Someone said, oh, you should put us first because you're tired at the end. I'm actually not tired. Maybe my voice is hoarse, but I'm okay. So but you're one of the water signs. You're getting a huge flood of emotion. You might be feeling a lot of remorse, nostalgia, looking back at the past lately, since August, November, kind of yearning for a time long gone. This is a Saturn, nostalgic, melancholic energy in the first house retrograde, taking you back to the past with your imagination, living in your imagination, thinking about your past, maybe even a place of regrets. You may have regrets as well, connected to your children, connected to your grandchildren, or you might be in some kind of situation where you feel alone and lonely, separated from your children and grandchildren. And that's just one way this could feel for you at this time. There's a lot of electric energy, but there's a lot of emotional energy. So the electric is coming off of Uranus. We'll get to that. Now, Jupiter is in a very lucky house, good fortune, and it's good for your children. They get collateral benefits, lucky breaks, great job opportunities, lucky in love, whatever. Your kids are getting some really great collateral benefits here. On top of which, your children could get pregnant. And this could be a situation that within 6 months after this moon, you're going to be a grandparent. Okay. It could also be a fertility cycle for you if you're able to have children at this age, whether you're a male or female. You and your partner could have a child at this age, or you and your sperm donor bank. I don't know, but it could indicate pregnancy. But the new moon itself is in the 9th house, and this is a Dharma house, and it wants you to start fresh, to begin new in a meaningful path and a dharmic path, a true north alignment of some sort. And if you do, it can increase your success in your career, and it can bring you also some chunky money. Now, 8th house money that Venus could provide for you by a dharmic alignment with purpose can be royalty income, ad income, passive income, but you could also come into some money here. Mercury rules the house of the spouse. Venus rules the house of death. Mercury's in the house of courts. Not to scare you. This is going to be very untrue for many of you, but some of you may be facing a time in your life where your spouse is either just leaving and you're separating, and this is a divorce asset separation, or passing away, and you're getting some money off of that as well. Now, it's all about you. North Node's in your sign. You're here to focus more on yourself for a change. One thing the sky would love for you to do with the electrical juggernaut of Uranus in your 3rd house is it might want you to consider, oh, by the way, and money could come from a sibling 3 older than you as well. And all the ways I said about spouse, same from a sibling 3 older. But also Uranus is like trying to electrify and jolt your mind, your thinking mind. It could also open up your pineal gland. It could also lead you to a erratic, sudden, exciting, vibrant change of neighborhood, especially with the sun ruling your house of rentals. It could be a rental property. It could even be a purchase, but it could be also a rental property. And there's this like excitement because there's a change of locale, a change of where you live that may occur within the 6 months that follows this storyline. For a single Pisces, with Venus, the goddess of love and romance, right, in the top of that 9th house, it could be a romance could emerge with someone from a foreign country, distant shore or far off land, different religious background, etc., etc. And it may become a relationship that requires travel. Also, Venus is the exaltation lord of you. She exalts you. She puts you on a pedestal. She does the best she can for you. Not a bad new beginning if you wish to travel internationally and you wish to begin a new course of study and higher education. Over the course of the next 6 months, that would work really well for you. Venus is not in good shape. With the South Node traveling your 7th house, love relationships are deeply karmatic. South Node can bring relationships for a reason, a season, and a time. While they are soulmated and destined, they may have a shelf life. All right. Venus in Scorpio can be secretive and sometimes manipulative, and we have to be careful for that. New beginnings and fresh starts, secrets revealed, Mercury. Venus rules the house of secrets. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and it's not like a long-term marriage, but even if it is, there may be some divulging of things about your person that you didn't know. Some secrets can be revealed here. Publishing and writing, communicating, traveling, these are positive for you. Now, your creativity, your artist, your muse, those are positive for you. Jupiter could win you some money. That's positive for you. Ultimately, Saturn is what's structured and hard and boundaried, and Neptune is what dissolves all of the structures in your life. And you've been going through this thing, and it's going to be active until next February and March. So you're going through the last gasp of a big dissolving in a fated, destined, once in a lifetime way with the North Node. And so everything that's occurring in your life right now is actually good. Jupiter is God of good in the fifth house. Like you're giving birth to something. It could be a project, a creative project, a new relationship. But again, for new relationships that are, or relationships that are underway, Venus is not in great shape. She's with Mercury, the Lord of commitment, and the Moon, the Lord of romantic love and sexuality in your house, your ruler of your fifth house. There may be something that's going to new moons, new beginnings, but also new beginnings require endings. And so the November 19th moon is also just quite as capable, having come past that Venus, of closing the doors on an existing relationship in some way or another. I don't know that it will open a new relationship in the 6 months. More than that, I think it would close a relationship, but I guess it could be a bit of both. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what we got for you in the Wind Walker's Wisdom Oracle. And then I'll tell you a quick outro and we'll finish up here. Video comes out. I'm recording for my Patreon community on Tuesday, November 4th. My sister will timestamp it. They're going to get it November 5th. You have to wait 4 more days. Why not become a part of my community on Patreon for a mere $7 a month? Zephyrus, there's other perks. Zephyrus West Wind, physical endings and harvest, directional wind. So something wants to end. Something needs to be harvested. The houses active, 1, 5, and 9 are purpose, meaning, and dharma houses. Right? Purpose, meaning, and dharma houses. This is why I chose the Wind Oracle. A friend of mine just got in touch and told me she had a baby in July, and she named the baby Zephyr. And we were talking about that wind. It was my friend Joanna. And it is so frigging funny that this happened, because that's why I decided to use this Oracle deck today. Someone commented on my channel, they didn't like the last deck I used. And again, they didn't like that didn't. So I thought I'd try something new. West Wind, physical endings and harvest, directional wind. Okay, something's coming to an end. Something is harvesting. All new moons require, it's a new beginning, but usually it's on the heels of something closing out as well. The South Node is in your committed love relationship house and sibling 3 older. Those relationships can be ending if they've been around for a long time. But even a romance can end under this particular sky. Let's see what happens. I'm going to tell you an outro. All right, so guys, I have so many stories about ghosts and stuff, but I'm still feeling the Halloween vibe. And I love trick-or-treating. As a kid, I was always dressed as a crystal ball gazer. I was dressed as a fortune teller, gypsy, or a witch. I never deviate. I was a clown one year, but every other year, fortune teller, gypsy, and witch. And it's funny because the third house of divining, scrying, oracles, and crystal ball gazers, the house of the goddess, is where I have Mercury, the trickster, and I was a clown, my sun and moon. And of course, I was a fortune teller and a witch. It really speaks to my third house, Aries planets there. Okay, so here's what I have to say. Ghost stories are so much fun. This is a dark story. I might have told it once before, though, so I'm not sure. I think I did. I'm not going to tell a story about my mom and the will. I already told it. I'll do a compilation of all of the ghost stories. I got a better ghost story for you, okay? So when I was single for a short time, between my marriage and the next major relationship, I had a couple of years dating people. I went on a date with a guy, and it was a long distance date. We met through Match.com. He lived in Ottawa. I lived in Vancouver, and he was coming to town, and we were going to meet at a coffee shop for the very first time. Starbucks, how original. And we had corresponded by phone calls, texts, emails for a while, for about 2 months before he got to town for a conference. And he got into town, and we had a lovely coffee, but near the end of our coffee, and we're going to take a walk on the seawall, he told me a story. Now, before the story happens, let me tell you the dream. About 3 days before he arrived, I had a dream. It wasn't a dream. It was a ghost, because it wasn't a dream. I was lying in bed, and all of a sudden, I woke up in the night, and it's dark and pitch black in my room. I had blackout curtains. And I saw at the end of the bed a woman standing there, a girl. She looked about 11 or 12. She had blonde hair, and she was smiling at me, but I could see it in the dark. You can't see in the dark. I was so freaked out. I jolted up in bed, sat upright, did a really good sit up, grabbed the light switch, turned it on to see what was at the end of my bed. But I could see an after image after that. It was weird. And I thought, who is that girl? She's a blonde. She's smiling. I think she might be 11 or 12. I have no idea. I looked about that age. And then he came to town and we were going to the coffee shop. And then at the end of no, did he wait till the walk? No, I don't know. During the end of the coffee or during the beginning of the walk, he says, there's something I've got to tell you. And I'm like, oh no. Because I knew he was separated from his wife. So I was thinking, don't he's not going to tell me he's married. And I thought, is he going to tell me he has a major STD? I mean, this is our first coffee date. What's this big thing? It was so heavy. There's something I need to tell you. And I'm like, whoa, this is intense. You won't believe this story. We're meeting on the day my daughter died. This is the anniversary of her death a year ago. I'm going to cry. And I go, you're kidding me. I saw a ghost at the end of my bed, a blonde girl, maybe 11. And he said, no, she was 9. And I said, can I see her? No, he did. He offered, he took his wallet out to show me her picture. And it was her. So then I said to him, you're not going to believe this story because you don't know me well enough to know that I talk to dead people and I see ghosts and stuff. But this is what happened. And I said, she smiled at me. She knew you were coming to town. We were having coffee 3 days later. Obviously, she wanted you to know she was okay. And it goes one step further. He felt guilty that he hadn't been at her deathbed. He missed saying goodbye. She had a brain cancer. It was a long, slow, protracted leaving of 6-7 months. And he was away on a business trip on the day that she passed. And he felt such remorse and guilt. Sometimes it's so great to be a channel for the dead. Sometimes, not always. Anyway, that's a story. That's a ghost story for you. I hope that entertains you and gives you a sense of hope and heart in the world. Oh my God, I didn't realize I was still like touched by that story. I don't remember being so emotional about it, but there's a water trine and I've been sobbing about everything lately, crying and joy and ecstasy and bliss and gratitude and sometimes tenderness. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Scorpio new moon. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.